just pulling a quick one on it.
Right.
Ramping up on it, and then you're thinking that that maybe they're apprehensive about what they gotta say.
Right.
Or that they don't know what it is. I don't know. But then all of a sudden,
yeah. But it sucks you in because you're kind of like,
that ramp.
What is he saying?
And then it hits you. I know some fire is on the way, because Charles C.G. Goady, and boom, you just got hit with a nugget. Got your toes stepped on. You ain't slipped. You get my nugget. I ain't gonna talk to you. Yo. Listen, you are tapped in to the Faith and Fire podcast. A podcast is all about celebrating God's wisdom, insight, revelation, hope, and love, one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Ken Bishop. To my left, I have my fabulous and fantastic co-host, Charles C.G. Goady. Man, listen, we've been getting after it. I hope you caught our last episode. The last episode was off the chain. It was absolutely amazing, and I think we really could have built on that a whole lot more. But what I will say is, what we have for you today, if you think I go ham in general, let me tell you what Charles is about to do to us, because this coming straight. I'm sidecar. You know what I'm talking about? Sidecar Sam over here, and I'm good with it, because when I tell you what Charles, I'm just going to show you. A game of inches. Charles, just come on, man. Just give me a quick little snapshot of how this even came about for you, bro.
Well, I was sitting here thinking about some things, and actually, transparently, I did not want to go get up at 5:30 in the morning and hit the gym. I was struggling with going to the gym. It was a Wednesday morning, and as I thought about it, I was in a really weird space. As I thought about it, I'm getting dressed, saying I'm not going. And so I'm sitting on the couch, fully dressed to go to the gym, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go.
Right.
And then I was like, why? It was so weird. If I'm not going to the gym, I'm not getting out of the bed, right?
Big fat.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm struggling with that, and I realized, well, what the Holy Spirit told me. What reminded me was that this wasn't a physical thing. This was a spiritual thing.
Right.
And so I was like, oh my God, it's spiritual. I gotta go to the gym, right?
I mean.
And so I jumped up. I'm like, if this is a spiritual attack, I'm finna go work out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I got there and I worked out, and I was glad that I did, but it just kind of in reflection on that, I thought about, there are these little bitty micro decisions that I make every single day that have a major impact on my life, right? Yeah. And no one ever says, today's a great day to have a stroke. No one ever says, I'm ready for my heart disease to kick in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't say that. But I say that. Bruh. I do say that when I say, yeah, I'm not going to go to the gym today. Yeah, I'm going to eat the candy bar.
Yeah.
It's just the Snickers. It's just the Reese's, right? It's just...
What harm can it do?
And because if I eat this little bit of sugar and have this whatever, and there's no immediate consequence from that, right? Like no one, I could eat a Snickers today, right? And there's literally nothing is going to happen tonight, right? And so, but when I take that nothing is going to happen tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and I multiply that
Mm-hmm.
by 30 years, you get to become the full framed and figured and beautiful, you know what I'm saying, illustrious,
Amen.
you know,
Amen.
all this blessing.
Amen.
Just you get all this extra blessing on
Amen.
you. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Bible said full of grace and truth.
it's a whole lot of grace. I don't know about the truth. But anyway, but you get all of that, right, when you multiply it by 30 years. And so,
Yeah.
you know, switching over to, if we're talking about something financial, right?
Right.
Because I think it's a little bit easier to see it there.
Yeah.
1.25% is not a lot of,
No.
it's not a high percentage,
No,
right?
No.
And if we're talking about it in a financial situation, we would love an interest rate at 1.25%.
Big facts.
Right. But the difference between 1.25% on a purchase of a small purchase isn't that big. But if I'm in Dallas,
Yes.
the greater Dallas area,
Yes.
which you and I reside,
Yes.
and I want to buy a house,
Right.
and the average house right now is $400,000. The difference between an interest rates right now in November of 2023 are between 6 and 7.25% on a 30-year mortgage. The difference between 6 and 7.25 over 30 years is me paying back $800,000 or me paying back $1 million, roughly. $200,000.
Man.
1.25% equals $200,000. Let alone I'm paying back almost 3 times what I would have at 7.25 with the house. That's why banks are in the mortgage business. I'm going to give you $400,000 today. You're going to give me back $1 million in 30 years. Yeah, I'll take that deal. I would take that deal. And if I had that kind of, if I was just sitting on $500,000, I'd
You had that
out
kind
too.
of cheese at your exposure.
If I had that kind of cheese and that kind of time at my exposure, at my disposal,
Yeah.
I would absolutely take that deal.
Bruh.
And that's why banks are taking it. But okay, so that's not what.
No. You know,
but it's 1.25%, and so what it is,
That's
it's
good,
a
though.
little bit of percentage,
Right.
It's a little bit of candy, but when you multiply that by 30 years, it's the difference in everything.
Yeah. You're right. So, man, the difference, and the thing of it is, I really like what you're expressing here, especially from the standpoint of, like, for real, the logic of dealing with our space from a socio-economical perspective, right, and not just a religious perspective, right, not just a black perspective,
Right.
like, for real, you talk about, you know, a game of inches, and we transpose or impose that perspective onto any facet of our life, bruh.
Well, because it all is, right, and you know, I love the movie Any Given Sunday.
Oh yeah,
right, with Al Pacino.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And so there's this scene where he's talking to the coach, to the players in the locker room, like halftime, and he says that football is a game of inches, right?
Yeah, big facts.
And an inch too fast or too slow, you don't catch the pass, right? You know, too wide, you know, we missed the kick, right? It you know, all that kind of stuff. You go back to, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Dallas played, the Cowboys played the Philadelphia Eagles, and you know, you move Dak's foot over an inch, that's a touchdown, right?
Big facts.
You know what I'm saying? You move the tight end 2 inches to the left, right? You know what I'm saying? That's a touchdown, right?
Big facts.
And
big
so,
facts.
yes, the field is, 40 yards wide and 100 yards deep, but at the end of the day, it's football is a game of inches. Life is a game of inches. Our relationships are games of inches, and so, because it's never, oftentimes it's not the big things, right? It's the little things that excite us about a person
right
at the beginning of a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're so excited about they did this little sweet little thing right here, and and she said this, and it's all these little bitty things at the beginning of a relationship that draw you to somebody, right? And get you excited, and then it is a culmination of a bunch of little things that have turned into big things at the end of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so what we've gone from, just he doesn't pick his socks up and he doesn't do, and it's that, but now, right, over the course of years and leaving your socks out and leaving your shoes out, now you're just an inconsiderate person. I have totally defined you as somebody that has no consideration, you know what I'm saying, for anybody else. And I can't stand you anymore. Not because you did something horrible, right? But it's a bunch of little bitty things. It's a bunch of inches.
Man, listen. This daggone dude right here, every time, it never fails. Every time he decides he wants to hit me with the heat. So, but you're spot on. You're spot on. It really is. And so, all right. Let me just touch this real quick, because what you're describing now is kind of what we talked about in service on Sunday. Shout out to Called Out Ministries, where I am the pastor. But what we talked about was wild thoughts, and what at the end of the day, here's what God gave me. And I was chatting with Kay Callie.
Okay.
I was chatting with Kay Callie, and while we were kind of just talking about, this particular subject matter, her being a DJ and kind of what we did for the service and whatnot, one of the things that we were talking about was some of the scriptures that are in place to help us to get our minds right.
Okay.
Right. But as we were both kind of coming to this understanding, talking about the scriptures, and then kind of powwowing over that overall thought, what we were talking about was that having wild thoughts, it's like those thoughts are not loud at first. They're whispers. And it's tuning into the whisper is what catches us. That's the hook. We tune into that whisper, and the next thing you know, we are now walking out what we've heard.
Exactly.
Because that whisper turns into a scream, but it's not a scream because the whisper itself screamed. It's a scream because we've focused in on it.
Right.
We've zeroed in on it.
Yes.
Like we were talking about, right? Listen, y'all, Goady, I love my brother. He does his ramp up, and y'all hear it. Every episode, he does it, and I love it. But that's his natural speaking cadence. So he'll start low, and then as he completes his thought, he gets louder. And I don't even know if he realizes just how freaking intelligent he is in doing this, because the psychology of communicating, the art of communication, that's exactly what you would want to do in any given conversation, in any exchange. That's what you would want to do.
I didn't realize I do it.
Dude, you do it, bro. But it is so masterfully done that I know you don't do it like intentionally. I think it's just second nature.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
second.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
muscle memory.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you start low, what are you gonna do if you're listening to something on your phone or watching something on your phone and it's low? What you gonna do?
Well, I lean in kind of to try to hear it.
Right, or turn it up.
Right.
Right. But you gotta focus in because you want to hear it. If there's a point that I gotta get across, I'm better suited in navigating or presenting, I should say, like Charles Goady than presenting like Ken sometimes. Because I'm loud. I am loud. And sometimes in my excitement and in me wanting you to get it,
Right. You'll get loud.
I get louder. I start loud versus starting low and then getting up there. Now, in a game of inches, if we impose that onto how we communicate with each other, right? If inches is presence or volume, attitude, right? It's
attitude. Absolutely.
The smallest thing.
Yeah.
The smallest thing can blow up into something absolutely enormous if left unchecked.
Right.
So, like, I hear what you're saying about the game of inches. The other part that I'm thinking about is, kind of the fact that we're walking constantly this narrow path that almost feels like an inch wide, bro.
Yeah, it does at times. I think, but it's what is actually okay in this, especially as we're trying to steward our relationships and trying to steward our careers, callings, ministries. My grace is sufficient for thee.
Man, so sufficient.
So it is a narrow path. It is a path that at times seems impossible to walk, but my grace is sufficient, really. And my mercies are new every morning.
Every morning. Man.
And not my grace at all, because Charles Goady don't have no grace. That is the grace of God.
You feel me? You feel me? Like, for real, only. Quite honestly. But, however, just kind of touching grace real quick. I love this ping pong that we do. We have to give grace every single day.
Absolutely.
A portion. That's our tithe. That is a tithe. Of the tithes, plural, that we give, one of the tithes that we offer up is grace. Because God gives it to us. And what's a tithe? Giving back to Him what He gives to us. We don't give grace to God. God is grace. God gives the grace. And what we do with it in honoring Him is give it out.
But we have to give grace, and the first person we have to give grace to is us. I need to give myself grace for messing up and not doing whatever it is that I need to do. I think that's the first thing, and that's a lesson that I didn't know. I'm sitting here. I'm just true story. And you was with us at the harvest last year, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out, not even having anything with church. I'm trying to figure out what to give myself, what's going to be my gift for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so, am I going to do something big and extravagant? Is it going to be low key? And I really felt like the Holy Spirit was like, how about some grace? You know what I'm saying?
So, again, So here's freaking Charles Goady. Okay. So one of the things that I've had a problem with over the years, especially as I mature, is the fact that I'm hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came from good stock.
Right.
But I experienced a lot of loss and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've experienced loss and trauma, I've internalized it. And in some ways, when I was less mature mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I would say, okay, somehow I did that. Somehow I am the catalyst for that.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I am the cause. And now I'm vacillating between what to do about me. What? How am I going back and forth about me?
Yeah, but we've allowed somebody that got kicked out of heaven to tell us that we are supposed to be at a certain point. And one of the reasons why we're supposed to be at this point is because of the good stock, right, that we came from, right? And dude, your grandfather is a beast, and just an absolute beast, and I love him. He reminds me of mine, who is just an absolute beast, and that is why, I don't want people calling me, and I've gotten better with it, but I don't want people calling me Pastor Goady, because he was Pastor Goady, and the standard that he set, I know I ain't there yet.
Brethren.
You know what I'm saying? And
Brethren.
so I come from this, right? So I come from that, right? And I come from a dude that my grandfather grew up in the 40s, right? World War II veteran. Was told that, he got a degree in finance, wanted to work at a bank, was sharp, could pass all the tests, could do all the stuff, but couldn't be hired because of the color of his skin, right? So ended up getting there, but had a lot harder time, right? Had a lot, just a much tougher road to hoe, if you will, as the saying goes. Because of the color of his skin. Fast forward to me, I don't have those racial challenges. I'm not saying that there's not racism.
Yeah, like it is.
I'm just saying it's not like it was. But no, an employer is not telling me I can't hire you because you're black.
Exactly.
Like an employer told him, right?
Yeah,
so
that ain't gonna happen.
Right. So that ain't happening today in 2023.
No.
So I don't have the same hurdles and barriers that he has. So I somehow believe that I should be further, and to an extent, I really do believe I should be further along, right? But then I get to start thinking about I should have this accomplished, and says who? Says what? Right? And so, my favorite scripture is Jeremiah 29:11, and for I know the plans, right? But Charles doesn't know the plan, right? No. Charles has his own idea and his own plan, and I'm so frustrated that I have not gotten to where I want to go in my plan.
Right.
My plan was never a consideration to begin with.
Because in the game of inches, who do I want to rely on? Somebody who has the propensity to drop the ball, or somebody that I know is going to cross the goal line every single time?
Well, I want to rely on the person that knows not only me, but that knows my opposition.
Right.
Knows the tendencies of me.
Ooh.
Knows my ability, right? Ooh. And knows what the opposition can and cannot do.
Ooh. Right? Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. First of all, First, on my camera. First of all, uh, Lady B in the booth, y'all. Did you hear what he just said? One more time for the people, Goody. One more time for the people. Say it again for me, Doc.
So I need to depend on, I want to rely on the person that not only knows me, but they know the opposition, right? They know what I'm capable of, and they know what the opposition is capable of. Like, so let's go back to football, right? I'm lined up. I'm on the field. I'm the player on the field, right?
But you hold on to that, but yes, because we gonna hit that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm on the field. I'm lined up against somebody that's telling me, I'm gonna do this to you. Oh, you ain't gonna catch nothing. You ain't nobody. You ain't
the worst.
Right. And so, as I'm lined up, right? It's not my responsibility to even call the play. I ain't gotta pick the play. I just gotta execute the play that comes in.
So you got to know your role.
I got to know my role. My problem is I'm trying to call plays, and I'm also getting gassed up by what the defense,
the opposition,
is threatening to do.
Not what they're going to do. Not what they're going to do. Because, like you said, I know the plans. So they may be trying to gas you up and make you leery of their impending plans. But a plan is just that. Outside of plan, it's an action.
So here's the thing. If you played a game, we play a game of football, you win 27-10. You win 27-24. Did you have a defense?
27-10. No, there was no.
The opposition wasn't there.
The opposition was almost non-existent. 27-10.
Did you get hit every play? You won, but you got tackled every play.
Yeah, every play, yeah.
But the defense wasn't there.
Yeah.
27-24. You still got hit every single play.
Yeah.
You weren't they were more successful. It wasn't as easy.
Yes, no, it wasn't.
But in both of those situations, there was a defense.
There was a defense. Yeah.
There was a weapon that was formed.
Yes, against you.
It just didn't prosper in either situation.
It didn't prosper very well at all, because if you 24-10 and there was 0 sacks recorded in that game.
But I think, for me though, I'm frustrated, right? Because I can't sit up here and say I'm not winning.
True that.
And I'm mad I'm getting hit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. Negro is football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the game.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit.
Ooh, that's the game.
That's
the game, son. Faith and Fire Podcast. Listen to me. Charles Goady is dropping bombs right now. Bro, that's the game. Life. That's the game. Life is life. If it's football, that's the game. You're going to get hit. You're going to get blocked. You're going to get sacked. There's going to be interceptions. There's going to be turnovers. You feel me? But there's also going to be first down, second down, third down.
But you're in
long completions.
You're guaranteed to win for all things work together.
So I'm a huge fan of mixed martial arts, and I usually say that just so that people understand. Like I'm a huge fan, but I'm not like an expert in that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't even tell you some of the current fighters right now. But I enjoy not the soap opera aspect, as it were, of mixed martial arts, I enjoy the discipline,
Okay.
the technique, the beauty of the fighting.
Right.
So if life is a game of inches, then in my mind the game is mixed martial arts.
Okay.
Because the legendary Bruce Lee was famous for a lot of things, but one thing that he was extremely famous for was the 1-inch punch.
Tell me about this.
1-inch punch. So, in Jeet Kune Do, which is the fighting style and discipline that Bruce Lee created from Wing Chun,
Okay.
which he studied under Ip Man, Master Ip Man.
Ooh,
Isn't that a dope movie?
Ooh, that whole series.
And there's another one coming out. But anyway,
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So Bruce Lee, he in being able to focus power and energy, aka chi, he was able to focus an immense amount of energy with an inch of space.
Wow.
An inch of space. So essentially, a solid punch. You want, I mean, if I'm close up on you and I'm trying to give you the business in the body, 4, 5, 6 inches, a foot, but I mean, why am I coming back that much if I'm trying to hit your body? You feel me?
Okay.
About 6 inches. And I should be able to give you, if I'm generating enough energy, because energy needs space and time.
Mm-hmm.
But what's producing that energy, if it can produce it at a high rate, it doesn't need as much space and it doesn't need as much time, right? So Bruce Lee, with 1 inch, he would put his hand like that up against, like, one of the demonstrations. You can find it on YouTube. He put his hand up against the dude's chest and then balled his fist so that there was just an inch between his fist and that dude's chest. He didn't rear back. The distance is what you got. That's it. That inch is all he had to generate power. And my man, boom, and knocked him, I think it was like 100 feet.
What?
Knocked him off his feet into a chair. Yes. 1 inch. 1 inch.
Wow.
1 inch, bro. So when you
I gotta look this up.
Oh, you gotta look it up, bro.
Wow.
When you told me about the message, and by the way, I mean, shout out to the Harvest Dallas, where it is about relationship and not religion. There's a pastor there, is Pastor Derek Raphael, where my good brother CG is on staff there, and so one thing, it's if it's about a game of inches, man, you don't have a choice but to be able to produce an immense amount of energy in a very short period of time and in a very small space.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're going to be productive. And when Charles first brought this, he told me about this because he was preaching it, and I was just like, yo, immediately I'm thinking to myself, dude, that's going to be bananas. So all kinds of thoughts started coming to mind, man. Fighting, fight or flight, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, we can broaden inch into almost any, we can drop down on anything we want, because, like, it's a game of inches when you talk about fight or flight, right? Because if we look at inches as not just being distance, but time, it doesn't take a lot of time to traverse an inch.
Right.
So fight or flight, you have a split second to make your decision whether I'm going to scrap or I'm out of there, right? A game of inches. Our walk with Christ, the enemy is constantly trying to make us feel like, and we're just gonna touch him for now. The enemy is constantly trying to make us feel like he's so close to knocking us off that it is seriously a game of inches. And in that case, what he'll try to do is plague us with anxiety.
Absolutely.
About it being a game of inches. Because that's the part where spiritual maturity, I would say, a healthy fortitude, a healthy fortified relationship with God, a relationship with those around you will assist in you having the type of strength that you need to not be anxious about it being a game of inches.
Right.
Because I think that's the major difference.
Well, and to your point, just a cliche. How does somebody take a mile?
Man, one step at a time.
What's the saying? What's the cliche? You give them an inch.
Oh, yeah, that part. Yeah, you give somebody an inch, they going to take a mile.
That's it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That is that. But the overall lesson.
That's good.
The overall lesson in that, the moral to that story is you can't give the enemy or you can't give anybody an inch, because if you give them an inch, they will take a mile.
They gonna walk off smooth with that mile.
And so it's just a little bit. You have to mind that inch, because that's how you protect the mile. By minding that inch, right? So just those little things, right? I mean, your point is so valid that it applies to every area, just about every area, of our lives. That every little decision, every little bitty thing, it all counts, right? It all counts. What are you gonna say?
So I shared this in service, and I think it like, again, just hearing you out, I'm processing real time, man. And so what I'm hearing is this quote from Mahatma Gandhi: your thoughts become your words. Your words become your behavior becomes your habit. Your habit becomes your values. Your values become your destiny.
And it started with what?
A thought. It started with a single thought, bro. Single thought.
One thought.
One
tiny, small thought.
Inch. If that.
Right.
If that. And so then, and that's why, I mean, listen, a game of inches, it is such an oxymoron. Because the game is huge.
The playing field is huge.
The playing field is massive. And if you had to go out with a 1-inch ruler and accurately measure the area of a football field, I think you're gonna be out there for a while. Because the playing field itself is so huge. So it's such a beautiful oxymoron. And game of inches, bro. So here's another one, and it's kind of similar to the one that Mahatma Gandhi quoted or has said. So the other one is, watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, because it becomes your destiny. So again, if we're talking about game of inches, and if the game of inches can be isolated down to, a moment, right? Again, the inch not being space, but rather being time, right? If in an inch of time we say the wrong word, that wrong word can spawn a wrong action. That wrong action, if perpetuated, will spawn a unhealthy habit. An unhealthy habit, if continued, will start to be or morph into your character, meaning it becomes a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And if your character does not get fixed, now the repercussions of your character, the purchases that you bought with your character, them packages is coming. Them packages is coming. Because I heard it said like this. Sister Angie, shout out to Sister Angie. I love my mom. You know, Sister Angie used to say, don't write a check. I'm gonna say it like she said it. And listen, she say, sanctified, Holy Ghost, filled, fire, baptized. This is a family show, but I'm gonna tell y'all God honest truth. Sister Angie said, don't write a check. Your ass can't cash.
Absolutely. I've heard that plenty of times.
Bruh. Game of inches? Shoot. Bruh. I'm trying to put as much space between me and her as possible.
As many inches as you can find.
As many inches I can muster. I need to put that betwixt me and this woman before she go off on me. Because it's about to be a wrap. Understanding that, again, to get this concept, dude, it is really big. It is really big because we can apply it. I mean, for just it's not really a long shot, but just kind of flow with before a minute again, the way my noggin works sometimes. So if I was in a moment where I wasn't diagnosed yet with ADHD, and I had gone through a lot of my life battling success.
Okay.
And finding myself missing the inch. A lot. But here's the crazy part. I make up for it because I grind.
Okay.
I make up for it because I'm a survivor. Right? I make up for it just sheer will. You know what I mean? I have a purpose. That purpose is to take care of me and mine. And nobody's going to beat me doing that. So I make up for the loss. But eventually, the losses started to pile up. And the gains, that scale was completely out of balance. And anxiety and stress and weariness and all kinds of stuff started to set in. And then one day I was told rather flippantly, well, no, it was out of jest. I mean, it was pretty much, it was kind of like saying jokingly. But I was asked, do you think you need some medicine? Because you might have ADHD. And I was like, man, go on, quit playing.
Right.
Nobody got no ADHD, man. Go on, get out of here with all that. Ain't nobody got no ADHD. But I had to think about it. So I went to the doctor. Actually, no, I went online first. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, y'all. I did go online. I Googled. And I took an online evaluation.
Okay.
That's what I did. And the online evaluation, it all signs was pointing. All signs was pointing. And so then I said, okay, well, let me go get an official tissue, right? Let me go get an official diagnoses on what's going on.
Okay.
And I go and see my primary care, and my primary care, he said, you know what? Yeah, for all intents and purposes, you are showing all of the signs.
Wow.
You showing all the signs. He said, but what's interesting is, there's a difference between just being ADD and ADHD. He was like, but you're not rude. And you don't really interrupt, things of that nature. Like you okay. But yes, you do have it. And I was like, okay. So I was thinking about just what he was saying. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I try not to be rude. I try not to interrupt people. I try. In my head, I am.
Right.
But I try not to voice it because I know that's not right. So I've been for so many years working with the defect. I've been working with it instead of acknowledging the fact that this is something that needs to be looked into because there's probably a fix. So anyway, fast forward. Long story less long. Once I got on my meds, And I started to not only become more productive, I started to create healthy, consistent habits. One thing I had to do, though, was take a step back, be introspective, and look at my past. Because it's still there. It's not present, because my present is my present, but my past is my data.
Right.
So now I had to look back at my past and be like, I was not successful in this particular moment because I wasn't focused. Or I didn't do or complete this thing because I wasn't focused. And had I taken it seriously when it was posed to me, when the question was asked to me, maybe that is one thing that I could have succeeded in. But I chose to kind of just shrug it off.
Yeah. Well, so yes, you can play, and I've played that game, where I look back at what I could, like, man, if I had just been better there, if I had been more focused, if I had been more ABC, whatever,
Yeah.
right, I could be further along, right? But, and I have a ADD. I don't have the hyper part, but
Right.
just the focusing and paying attention. Struggled all with, and like you fought through it, through school and everything. There are habits, right, that I know I have to write down what I need to do for the day. I have to write it down on a piece of paper. If I do that, I'm good. To get through my day, and my days are way more productive when I do that. So I've learned the tricks that work for me. I also have learned that my diet has a lot to do with that too, right? So I can control that, control the ADD flare-ups with that. But most importantly, though, when I go back and I look at what I could have accomplished and where I could have been if I didn't have it, right? That actually gets canceled out. Because I'd be exactly where I am right now.
Okay.
Because right where I am today is right where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Right where I am today is right where God has planned for me to be.
Destined for you.
In His plan. Right? Includes my struggle with ADD. Right? You know what I'm saying? And so in the lineage, when in Christ's lineage included David and Bathsheba.
Yes, it did.
So it includes the fact that David has a problem.
Yep.
And I'm still going to work out, God's still going to work out through all of that to get to, in Moses's get these people out of Egypt includes his ability, his inability to speak, includes his anger.
Part.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, because
and in Noah's shipbuilding, cruise line building business, right, includes
Animal Cruise.
Right. Includes an alcoholic, a problem with alcohol.
I mean,
so all of these, so I can be hard on myself, which I have been for years. On on just, man, if I had this under control, I'd be better. I can give myself the grace to know that God was smart enough to know that I would have to struggle with it, and that I would be working through it and getting to where I am today, and it still not affect and change my destiny.
I love that, bro. I love that. And what's really dope is, for me, it is I have a duality that I operate from when I'm introspective. And the hope side of that duality is what you just expressed. That regardless, I'm where I'm supposed to be because God already knew. And I was not supposed to be here, then it would be different.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I have gone through have either propelled me into this place or has halted me in some instances of time in order for me to learn, right, to be built up, to be pruned, right, to fall on my face so that I can be strengthened, and then I can move forward, right? So definitely. But then there's the other side where it is data driven and it is a little more critical. Not lacking grace, but definitely more critical. So one thing that I realized was some of the inches that I missed wasn't even because I had ADD. Some of the inches I missed was because I used to be a chronic procrastinator.
Right.
Some of the inches I missed is because I chose to not apply myself because there was a part of me that was a little bit lazy.
Right. And it's part of that laziness or that procrastination. It's part of that fear. It's part of that lack of self-confidence.
Man.
See, and because I've learned that my procrastination in a lot of instances is a lack of confidence.
Ooh.
And so
that is a much more grace-filled way of looking at that, for real. It really is. It really is, man.
But that there's a what man, I tell you what, insecurity and ego, right, are two of the biggest things that I think has tripped up mankind, and I know it's tripped up me. But my insecurities in things and a lack of self-confidence, I think, has held me back more than ADHD or ADD.
Yeah,
has held me back for sure, for absolute.
Man.
And that lack of confidence is a lack of faith.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, that's okay. All right. Yo, listen. Again, you guys, you have been listening to the Faith and Fire podcast. A podcast is all about celebrating God's insight, revelation, hope, and love, one conversation at a time. And this is exactly what's taking place. Me and my brother Charles Goady having an amazing conversation about a game of inches. Listen, final points. We're going to wrap up. I'm sure this is probably going to come up in our next episode. I hope something has been said or shared that has been meaningful, right? Something that has jolted your intellect, your heart, your mind into action, right? Because that's really, at the end of the day, what it's about, CG.
Absolutely.
We want to have a conversation because we're sharing with each other what God drops on us and the things that we're going through. You just so happen to be an observer. However, our responsibility in knowing that we are being observed is to make sure that what we're offering up is a dope sacrifice to God that everybody is going to be able to benefit from. So we pray that you all have benefited from this episode. So we got a couple points and we're going to wrap up. So CG, I'm going to come to you first. Final thoughts on the game of inches.
The most important thing that I would want anybody to take away from this conversation is just that it is the micro decisions. It's the little bitty things. It's deciding that I'm going to get up and go to the gym. I'm going to not finish the food on my plate. I'm going to not go get Starbucks and stick to my budget, right? It's those little bitty things. Pennies add up to dollars, right? Yeah. And so and the little bitty dollars make major dollars, later on, especially when we multiply all of these little micro decisions over time, right? And so those are the inches when it comes to dieting and food, but the inches in relationships are the spending time, taking the time to turn my phone off for 15 minutes and listen to a loved one,
Mm.
or just all those little things that we know we need to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we we convince ourselves it's no big deal. I'll do it later. It's yada yada. Whatever it is, those little bitty things make a big impact on all of our relationships and everything. And so, I just want everybody to mind those micro decisions.
Man, mind those micro decisions. Listen, I'm gonna drop this on you, and then we are out of here. Final thought from what my brother shared with us, and I'm so grateful that he brought this particular subject matter for us to talk about today. So, here's my final thought. It is imperative that we unclog our ears and hear from God, because in a game of inches, you cannot afford to miss the slightest whisper of instruction from Him, because He's going to tell you exactly what you need to do, because He knows.
Absolutely.
I know the plans. And a lot of times, I would dare say most cases, 9.9 times out of 10, God don't yell.
He's still small voice.
Still small voice, man. And so, what did we talk about at first? The art of communication. That whisper that grows into something louder, but it's not that the volume of that whisper has increased.
Right.
It's that I've tuned into it so that I hear it better. So again, it is imperative that we unclog our ears and hear from God, because in a game of inches, man, we can't afford to miss the slightest whisper of God's instructions. So, God bless y'all. We love y'all. This has been Faith and Fire Podcast. Again, a podcast is all about sharing God's wisdom, insight, revelation, hope, and love, one conversation at a time. I am your host, Ken Bishop. I got my buddy with me, Charles C.G. Goady. Man, oh man, listen, y'all be blessed and stay tuned.